So now at this point, I am going to attempt to take this drawing with all the construction lines and turn it into this. Hopefully I can do it without too many restarts, but let's get started. So we're going to have to do a whole bunch of darkening. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the easier points to darken. Now I see this point here and this point here. So I have no center point to start with. And my drawing does have a center up at the top, a vertex, so to speak. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to orient the page, or orient my drawing, so that it is facing the same way as my example, because that's going to be the easiest way to deal with things. So I'm rotating. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm going to rotate this whole drawing so that I have these 2 points just like these 2 points in my original. Now, looking at this point here, obviously it starts here, and it follows one of these lines. Now, obviously it doesn't follow this line because it just doesn't look right, because that goes to this intersection. So this point goes 1, 2, 3 intersections over. So 1, 2, 3 intersections over. And I connect that point, so now I have a darker line that defines this point here to here. The tricky part is going to be, what do I connect to make this bottom line work? So let's take a look. If I go down here, the first point of intersection I have is this one right here. So is it possible that I connected this point with another one? So obviously it follows parallel. And so would it go to here? Perhaps. So I am going from a diameter, the intersection of a diameter and this line here, to create that point there. Now, at first glance, this does appear to be a little too wide of a line, but let's continue with it and see if it works out. It may not. So then, I have this line, then it turns and comes across. Remember, 3 over. So from here, 3 over. 1, 2, 3 over. And my bottom line, I'm going to go from here, following parallel until I get to the connection of or intersection of a diameter and a construction line, right there. So then the pattern is going to continue. 3 over. 1, 2, 3 over. And then same deal here. So here's the diameter. So it would connect here. So then from here I go 3 over. 1, 2, 3 over. And my bottom line will continue parallel right there. Then from here 3 over. 1, 2, 3. My bottom line continue here. 3 over. 1, 2, 3. And then this continues across to here. From our top line, 3 over. 1, 2, 3. This line goes parallel to this intersection. 1, 2, 3. My bottom line comes over. 1, 2, 3. And I'm starting to see that it's working out correctly. I hope. We'll see. And then this goes over to this intersection here. 1, 2, 3. This connects up. And look at that. I'm back where I started. So hopefully If I'm using the correct points of intersection for my bottom lines, I'll be able to have the weaving piece work out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my construction lines. And to do that, I'm going to do what? I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So let's see if I move. OK, that doesn't work. So I have my drawing, but I still have my construction lines, which makes the drawing really difficult to read. So I'm going to move my construction lines out of the way. That's not what I meant to do. Try that again. So now I will move the construction lines out of the way. And so now I just have my drawing. But the problem is it's not weaving in and out of itself. I need to erase some lines. Now, I can't erase with an eraser these lines because of how I've drawn them. So I'm going to have to redo some lines. So I'm going to redo the lines that I want to keep in red. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to group it so I can get rid of it later. And so I'm now going to start with my same starting point right here. And notice how I go under, over, under, over. So that pattern is going to repeat itself. Under, over, under, over. So I go under, over, under, and then over. Same thing. Under, over, under, over, and repeat. Under. So by the way, I am now at this point. So I go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Repeat. Under, over, 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 under, over. It's a nice mantra. So what's this one going to be?
Under.
Okay, help me out. Under,
Over. Under. Over. Under.
a little bit louder so we can actually hear it.
Under. Over. Under. Over.
Repeat.
Under. Over. Under. Over.
Repeat.
Over. Under. Over.
Again.
Under. 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 Over. Under. Over.
Again. Oh, whoa, whoa, I got ahead of myself. Under. Under. Okay, thank you. Last time.
Under. Over. Under.
You got ahead of me, but that's okay. All right, so this drawing doesn't look that much different than what it did originally, but look. I'm going to select my original black guidelines, and now it's weaving inside of itself. So that is how you create this drawing out of this one. Definitely a worthwhile endeavor, and it looks great.